Imagine it's 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon and your manager drops by your desk and asks you to summarize the data by units sold by product, net sales by product, profit by segment, average profit per unit by product and segment, and the percentage profit margin by segment, and all before you leave for the day. Now at this point, most people will accept they're not leaving by 5 p.m. and will go straight to formulas like sum ifs, count ifs, average ifs, etc., resulting in a lot of formulas across multiple sheets. And if the dataset changes, or worse, your boss asks for something slightly different, you start all over again. But there's a better way. You can build one dynamic pivot table that does all this for you, plus we'll add some bonus features that your boss didn't ask for that will earn you some brownie points towards promotion. First, I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-T to format the data in an Excel table. It's detected that my table has headers, so I'll click OK. Now this isn't strictly necessary, but it'll make it easy to update the reports with one click when I get new data. And from here I can summarize with a pivot table. It's going to add it to a new worksheet and I'll click OK. So the first task was to get the units sold by product. So we want the product and it pops it in the rows, and I need the units sold in the values. Job done. Next, they wanted net sales by product, so I can simply check the box for net sales, and that job's done. Then we needed profit by segment, and I could create a new pivot table, but let's add it to this one, and then our boss can view the profit in context of the units sold and net sales. So we want to add the segment to the rows and the profit to the value area. Now if they want to focus in on the product, they can right-click the product, expand and collapse the entire field, and now they have the data just at the product level. They can also use the plus buttons here to expand specific product groups, or they can right-click, expand and collapse, and expand the entire field, and we're back to our product by segment data. Now before we move on, I'm going to go to the Design tab and just format this pivot table in this light green style. The next measure we need is average profit per unit by product and segment. And for this we need to add a calculated field, which we do via the Pivot Table Analyze tab, Fields, Items and Sets, Calculated Field. Here we give the field a name, so this is average profit per unit. And in the formula I'll delete the 0, so we want the profit, just double click to add it to the formula, divided by the units sold. Click Add, and now you can see it in the field list. I'll click OK. It automatically adds it to my pivot table. Now there's a couple of things to tidy up here. First of all, I don't want sum of before the column name. So selecting it, I'm going to press delete, but importantly, I'm leaving a space before the name. You can't have a column name exactly the same as a field name, so this space just differentiates it. Next, I want to format the numbers as a number with 2 decimal places. And that's done. The last measure is percentage profit margin by segment, and this also requires a custom field. This one's going to be called profit margin, and for this we need to take the profit divided by the net sales. I'll click Add and OK. It's added to my pivot table. Again, let's get rid of sum of, leaving the space. And instead of whole numbers, these should be percentages, so I'm going to right click, number format, percentage, and I'll have 1 decimal place. Now if your pivot table doesn't look like this, it'll be because my default report layout is set to show in a tabular form, and that's what you see here. Yours is most likely in compact form, which is the default. I prefer it in a tabular layout. You most likely also see subtotals, which you can add from the drop down here at the bottom or the top of the group. And with that, we've answered all 5 questions with no formulas at all, and it's not even close to 5 p.m. So we send it off to our manager, and we're thinking they might let us go home early. Then a message comes back asking us to change the analysis to show it by country instead of segment. Luckily, you used a pivot table because it's super easy to change. All we need to do is remove the segment and replace it with country. Job done. But it's still well before home time, so how about we over-deliver and earn some brownie points? But first, if you want to get up to speed with pivot tables fast, check out my Pivot Table Quick Start course. There's a link in the video description and pinned comment. Okay, let's look at things we can add to our report to get that promotion. So I'll right-click the segment and add it as a slicer. There it is behind the pivot table. Let's just bring it up here. I'm going to pop it above the pivot table, and we're going to realign it across the top. And in the slicer settings, we'll give it 5 columns. And let's make it this green color in keeping with the pivot table. Just give it a little bit more space. And now they can easily toggle between the different segments, left-clicking and dragging to select multiple, or holding down Control to select non-contiguous items. And if they want to revert back to see all segments, click the clear button. Okay, let's also help them quickly interpret key data with some conditional formatting. I'm going to add color scales to the profit margin. On the Home tab, Conditional Formatting, Color Scales, and I'm going to use this green with white color scale, and then click on the drop down here, and I want all cells showing profit margin values for country. Let's also add data bars for the net sales. Conditional Formatting, Data Bars. We'll go with Solid Fill in green. Click on the icon here. I want all cells showing sum of net sales values for country. Let's also sort the net sales. So right click, sort, and we'll choose largest to smallest. So you can see with very little effort, we have a dynamic, interactive report that's easily modified. And if we get new data next month, we can simply add it to the bottom of our source data table. So for example, you can see here I have data up to November, and in this sheet I've got some data for December. So let's Control C to copy it. And then on the very next row of our source data table, Control V to paste it in. Go back to our pivot table report, and to update this report, all I need to do is go to the Data tab and refresh all. And just like that, it's updated. Or Microsoft 365 users can choose to auto refresh and have the pivot table update whenever the source data changes. They don't have to lift a finger. Just note that this auto refresh feature is currently available in beta, so you might not see it yet. As you've seen, pivot tables are powerful. With just one pivot table, we've replaced hundreds of formulas, added custom calculations, and built a dynamic, filterable report in minutes. But here's the thing. Regular pivot tables have limits. They can't connect to multiple tables. They can't handle complex relationships or really large data sets. And that's where Power Pivot comes in. If you're ready to level up, check out this video next. You'll learn how to connect multiple tables, use advanced calculations, and build scalable reports using Power Pivot. I'll see you there.